King, McGruber here was just explaining to me how you peed in your pants. And then he was a nice guy and he volunteered to wear your pee-pee pants.
What are you talking about?
Okay, well, I gotta go. USA!
We enjoy wrestling.
Hey everyone, it's We Enjoy Wrestling. We are the Mattitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hey guys, I'm tired and my voice is kind of shot. But hi.
Well, I'm sick, so between us, we're sick and tired.
Yeah.
This was one of those things where you said, hey, I can't podcast in the morning. I'm like, that's great, because I feel like crap this morning, because you usually feel worse in the morning. And I'll surely feel better. I don't. So it's one of those types of sicknesses where it just stays the same. Also, because it's later here in the Fowler household, you probably are gonna hear some noises because the teens are home. The cat, this is her meowing time. I don't know what else you call it, right? You have cats. You have two of them. So, the TV's blaring in the other room. People are coming home from work next door. The neighbors. This is madness. This is after hours. But of course, we wanted to get this done. This is I would say this was a very busy week in the world of professional wrestling in WWE. A lot of interesting things happened. Would your father, Shelley Goldman, think they were interesting, Eric?
If he followed professional wrestling, he would.
Okay. Housekeeping up front. We are on Twitter at @TheMattFowler. And whoa, what are you doing there, Eric? what just happened?
I grabbed my mic. That's a personal question.
Okay, I was going to say.
I grabbed my mic and everything went horribly wrong.
Did you just enter the hell dimension and Event Horizon? What's happening?
Yeah. Okay. I imploded like Jack Noseworthy.
The best death for the best noseworthy death of all of his deaths. So on Twitter at TheMattFowler, stop interrupting my housekeeping. We have new listeners possibly coming into us through Spreaker and Spotify. The Matt Fowler, the Eric Goldman on Twitter, WEW Podcast on Twitter, and like I just mentioned, we are now hosted by Spreaker, so you can download that app if you want an extra app on your phone. It is totally free, and there's plenty of other podcasts on there to listen to. Also, we are available on Spotify, as well as all the usual places you used to listen to us, though I will have to give you continuing updates about SoundCloud, which is where we were previously hosted.
Yeah.
I don't know, I may have to in order to keep uploading this podcast to SoundCloud now, I may have to keep paying a monthly fee, and if that's the case, then F that. SoundCloud is going the way of the dodo, but I will keep you updated. It will at least be on SoundCloud for the next 2 podcasts or so. But Eric, Bloody Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay to Becky Lynch, and yay to her looking awesome, even whilst bloody. But yeah, the situation, why she was bloody, and what it meant were not good things.
That's my favorite Panic at the Disco song.
Why she was bloody, and
what it all meant, in parentheses, and what it all meant.
Right.
So she's out of Survivor Series, so this is a big bummer. BFF of the podcast, Becky Lynch, is not participating in the match we all wanted to see. Really the only match we wanted to see at the time, because I am excited about Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. That was a actual WrestleMania dream match I had in the back of my head from years ago. But yeah, Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, everyone was looking forward to. Most people were looking forward to it the most at the pay-per-view. A lot of people were arguing that it should actually main event the pay-per-view. If Brock Lesnar weren't on this pay-per-view, it was probably a done deal that it would. You know what I'm saying? I just can't see them not putting Brock on last just because he's Brock and he gets these types of... They afford him these types of things and he always goes... Even when he main evented SummerSlam against Randy Orton when no title was on the line. So Brock always gets the last spot. But Becky versus Ronda should have had the last spot. It's not even happening now. Eric, what are you feeling? What are you feeling deep down inside? I know it's a lot of pain and turmoil.
Yeah, so it's a bummer. It's funny because, again, with the timing of it all, for me personally, like I learned she was out before I'd even seen the end of Raw, and so I knew, like but I'd seen her tweet out a photo where where it was like sepia tones, so as not to show how bloody she was, where she was standing there all like looking badass. So I knew she had invaded. I knew that, they did, like, because they hadn't done that yet this year. Like, Becky must have, like, shown up on SmackDown.
Well, they didn't have time either. Remember, we mentioned last week there's only 2 weeks build to this Survivor Series.
Yeah, so learning she was out, of course, the first reaction is just how much it sucks. Like, for her right now, she is the hottest thing going in WWE. She is, like, the most over wrestler in WWE. The crowd is so with her. I mean, honestly, I'm sure WWE themselves are, oh man, like, losing her at this moment. In the long run, it's like, okay, it sucks. She had like, okay, they said she had a broken face. They didn't say she had a broken nose.
Do you know that Pixie song, "Broken Face"?
Not offhand. I mean, I probably did if I heard it. But
I don't know if we saw the Pixies in concert. I'm trying to remember if they played it when we saw them. Dennis Miller was there. Anyway, keep going.
Yes. Anyway, so she broke something. She had a concussion. Of course, they said that was like the deal breaker. Like, they will not let you compete these days if you have a concussion.
If you have a broken face, like it was just
face, we might let you. But yeah. So, and look, I mean, of course, she shouldn't be allowed to wrestle. But it just sucks that's the scenario. In the long run, I don't think this hurts Becky in that I think she is so popular right now. Doesn't sound like she's going to be gone for months. Whether she has to wrestle in a mask for a while or not, but that'll just add to her coolness.
Yeah, I'm thinking of you weren't following wrestling at the time, I don't believe, in the mid '90s when Undertaker had a.
I'm a little aware of it.
It was very cartoonish because that was the era, the next generation era or the new generation era, very colorful. So he still had this face guard, but it was very macabre and very Halloween story. But if you brought that back and gave it to Becky, she would get anything over at this point. It would be amazing. Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about the. I guess side note here, she also has a concussion, and that's always scary. And those have been going around a lot, between Liz Morgan and Zelina Vega. And,
Liv Morgan.
What'd I say?
Liz.
I'm sick. What do you want? And yes, it was a noseworthy death. I didn't want you to think I totally missed what you said. But let's talk about the blessing, more of a blessing than a curse aspect of this, is that now we are denied this match.
Yes.
We are denied the Ronda Rousey Becky Lynch match, and we are being gifted early with Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey, which is the match that everyone wanted, which is the match that they were rumored as of last year, even when they were heading into WrestleMania and Charlotte was facing Asuka. This was the Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey was the match that was rumored for this year's WrestleMania, or I should say next year.
Yeah.
But we're getting that now, and we're not getting Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. And the more, if you just continue to keep those two away from each other,
yep,
you have an absolutely amazing WrestleMania match.
Yes.
Right now. That, of course, honestly, you and I are both going to say it should main event. And it should. The reason we're saying that is not just because, obviously, a women's match should and could and will someday main event a major pay-per-view that's not an all-women's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But because Ronda Rousey is that crossover name value.
Yeah, that's why that's why they wanted her.
Which is...
it's the combination of Ronda being a transcends wrestling persona and Becky being the hottest thing that's homegrown, they've got going right now.
Yeah. The hottest homegrown thing it could be a moniker, but it also sounds sort of weird.
Right. But yeah, both those combined to make it sound awesome. And yeah, maybe this will end up being a great thing for Becky in the long run if this ends up happening. And I really think it could, because it's like, the thing about, as we said, Survivor Series has had like so little build. Granted, Ronda versus Becky was the first match announced. It had the longest build, at least, of them all. And again, to your point of if Brock wasn't there, absolutely could have and should have main evented. But still, you could get a lot more out of this than we're going to fight each other because we're both the champs. And that's the only reason, it's Survivor Series, and so that's what we have to do. And then they made something out of it. I'm not saying they didn't, but it just feels like, oh, this could only help. And the way that they're going after each other on social media now, and of course we talk about social media, is a weird aspect of wrestling these days, as far as how kayfabe versus someone just being themselves it is. But right now they're being vicious with each other.
I know.
But it's great. Like, I mean, it's their, it's fueling. It's just making people more hyped up.
Let's talk about all the sparkly ornamental stuff that's surrounding all of this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lines being blurred. There's a lot of like muddy murkiness. Some of it's making me feel a little uncomfortable. I don't really like living in the area of what's real and what isn't, and I don't really like that. As a wrestling fan, I kind of, once in a while I appreciate a good worked shoot or a good work, or anything, or just having the wool pulled over my eyes or the rug pulled out from under me. I like that, but not when it's all the time, constantly, and like what's real and what isn't, and what's UFC and what's not. And here's Ronda Rousey now saying, hey, Becky Lynch, that's what it feels like to get really punched in the face. I'm like, okay, so are you calling out really Ronda Rousey, who loves professional wrestling? Are you basically just saying like,
it's all fake?
We weren't going to punch each other in the face at this match we were going to have that's now canceled, but now you know what it feels like if I were to actually do that. And I was like, that's weird. Why go there, Ronda Rousey? And also, why talk about her being a millennial when you're the same age?
Born 2 days apart, by the way.
Oh, wow. They're almost birthday buddies.
Yeah, they are.
I found a name for their tag team, by the way. So that's weird, too. Also, why... I think I missed the ground zero for when avocado toast became, like, the huge millennial thing.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like, why is that an insult? It's delicious.
It was just also it came out of nowhere that she's like, you're a millennial. Even without the, wait, you are too... It just felt so random because nothing about Becky's character is about that. And again, it was already like, for us, we were like, well, we're going to side with Becky if Ronda's like, you had to work real jobs, like a loser, like you're entitled millennial. I'm like, well, no, but if you're saying like she had to like work to like make money, I don't know. It's not.
No, you're right. It's very mixed messaging because she kind of took the millennial thing because Becky, she was claiming Becky was outraged, which Becky wasn't. She just brought up the fact that it's like, you're making fun of me for having jobs. Yeah. It was probably the internet that was outraged when she said that, honestly, because that's what the internet does. So she's really insulting Becky's fans and not so much Becky, because that's not how Becky reacted. But yeah, how can she say that she's sort of an outrage machine / entitled brat when she scratched and clawed and held every job she could just to get to work really hard and achieve her dream of being a professional wrestler? Is, the antithesis of what she's claiming a millennial is. Yeah. By the way, who's her same exact age. So anyway, but yeah, so then, okay, so I'm going to, like I said, my head's swirling and I'm a little sick. So you rein me in here, but it's really strange, this whole social media side of this, because like I just mentioned, she and Ronda are going at it on social media. They're getting down and dirty. They're like, she's digging into like, her UFC career and like, you're not good at defense, bringing up real things. Yes. And by the way, Becky's
how upset you were after your loss.
Yeah. But
again, very things we know are real,
So whether or not this is all agreed upon and they're actually best buddies in real life, or we've already established they're birthday buddies, but are they best buddies? I don't know. Or are they actually striking nerves and like, hey, how dare she? And there's an actual built-in animosity there. That's a kind of behind the scenes thing that we're not going to know about. Now you throw on top of this Nia Jax being the one who punched Becky in the face, broke her face with this fist. Yes. Was it a mistake? Was it intentional? Did Becky hit her too hard first, and that was sort of a receipt? I don't know. They showed it on TV, which I was very surprised at on SmackDown when they showed her as being the culprit for who did it, is only going to get her heat from fans who are already in a fervor over Brie Bella kicking Liv Morgan in the face. And, we're already set to strike at anybody who injures somebody we really like. or we feel is quote unquote careless in the ring. So the fact that they could have just said her face was injured in the attack.